Hello, today we are going to discuss the title of the novel, The Vendor of Sweets, written by R.K. Narayan. The title of this novel, like all other novels of R.K. Narayan, is quite appropriate. It consists of two main words, vendor and sweets. Vendor means seller, and it is Jagan, who is the seller of sweets. He has his sweets mart or sweets shop in the market road, a crowded locality of Malgudi. The novel opens in a dramatic manner with his words to the cousin, "Conquer taste and you conquer the self." And it ends with his going to the retreat across the river in a garden with a pond in it. Thus, the entire novel, from the beginning to the end, is concerned with Jagan, the seller or vendor of sweets. Jagan is a shrewd man and he knows how to make the maximum profit out of the sweets he sells. His organization and management of his sweets business is perfect. He goes to his shop or mart at right time early in the morning and remains there till 7:30 p.m. when it is dark and day's business in Malgudi comes to an end. He has his seat or gaddi at a central place in the shop from where he can keep a watch on the four cooks working in the kitchen and the boy at the front who sells the sweets. If the sound of sizzling or cooking in the kitchen ceases, even for a moment, he would loudly ask as to what the matter was. At once, the sound would recommence or begin again, and Jagan would be at ease once again. Whenever there is noise in the front, he would shout to the captain or the watchman to scare away the schoolboys who frequently collect in front of the shop. This shouting keeps both the captain and the boy at the counter alert and duty conscious. On one side, he could hear, see, and smell whatever was happening in the kitchen, whence a constant traffic of trays laden with colorful sweetmeats passed on to the front counter. As long as the frying and sizzling noise in the kitchen continued and the trays passed, Jagan noticed nothing. His gaze unflinchingly fixed. His gaze unflinchingly fixed on the Sanskrit lines in a red-bound copy of the Bhagavad Gita. But if there was the slightest pause in the sizzling, he cries out, without lifting his eyes from the sacred text, "What is happening?" The head cook would give a routine reply, "Nothing," and that would quieten Jagan's mind and enable it to return to the Lord's sayings until again some slackness was noticed at the front stall and he would shout, "Captain, that little girl in the yellow skirt, ask her what she wants. She has been standing there so long." His shout would alert the counter attendant as well as the watchman at the door. An ex-army man in khaki who had a tendency to doze off on his deal-wood seat, or Jagan would cry, "Captain, that beggar should not be seen here except on Fridays. This is not a charity home." This is how he used to give instructions to the watchman. This has been Jagan's lifelong routine, and he has made a lot of money by selling his sweets, pure stuff, as he calls them. For he uses not only pure desi ghee, but butter made of cow's milk. None has ever been able to compete with him At 60, he is still in full control of his business, and his faculties and sensibilities are still as acute as ever. He has the reputation of being a shrewd man, and even when he drastically reduces the prices of his sweets, others think that he has something up his sleeves. Jagan is careful to count the money obtained from the sales of the sweets each day in the evening, and he does so with great secrecy so that none may get wind of the cash that he has on him each evening. The surroundings were hushed when the master counted his earnings for the day. Although the boy at the front stall received all the cash, he was not supposed to know the total. He just dropped every paisa he received into a long-necked bronze jug and brought it in at 6 o'clock. Returned to his seat and brought in another installment in a smaller container at 7 when the shutters were drawn. Jagan would not count the cash yet, but continued to read the Lord's sayings. When his staff was gone, he put away his scriptures book and pulled out his table drawer, which was padded with a folded towel in order to muffle the sound of coins being emptied from the bronze jug. His fingers quickly sorted out the denominations, the fives, tens, and quarters with a flourish over a keyboard. His eyes swept the collection at a glance and arrived at the final total within 15 minutes. He made an entry in a small notebook and then more elaborate entries in a ledger which could be inspected by anyone. In his small notebook, he entered only the cash that came in after 6 o'clock out of the smaller jug. This cash was in an independent category. He viewed it as free cash, whatever that might mean, a son of immaculate conception, self-generated, arising out of itself and entitled to survive without reference to any tax. It was converted into crisp currency at the earliest moment, tied into a bundle and put away in the loft at home. Before leaving for home, he would take stock of the leftovers. Mysore Pak could be sold the next day, and so it did not matter if a part of it was left over. If jalebis were left unsold, Jagan knew that they could not be sold the next day and that it was a sheer waste. But he also knew that it could not be helped. He would then see that all the windows were properly closed and ask the head cook what it was possible to do with the leftovers. He would feel much pleased when he was told that the leftovers would be turned into pulp and a new sweet would be made out of it. This, he thought, was possible for after all. Everything consists of flour, sugar, and flavor. Then he would leave for home after warning the captain to be watchful. Such is Jagan, the vendor of sweets, and such are his business methods. His business continues to flourish till his conflict with his son Malli forces him to drastically reduce the prices of his sweets. The novel ends with his leaving his sweets mart to be managed by his cousin. We get a last glimpse of the vendor of sweets as he goes to his chosen retreat on the other side of the river. In this way, the title of the novel is quite appropriate. Thank you.